Hello and welcome to the Ninja Sewing Space, where you learn to sew and style the wardrobe of your dreams. Okay, today's video, as you can tell by the title, is talking all about stylish and trendy necklines. Not just trendy, classic necklines that you sew that never go out of style. And today's video is in collaboration with my girl Stylish Ninja. She does lots of tutorials on YouTube here. Her channel is awesome. Go check her out. And yeah, so I will be showing you guys how to create the scalloped neckline. Okay, it looks like this, but these are not like full size. These are just small size, just sample size, just for the tutorial. And I don't know the official name for this one, but we'll call it a stepped neckline. And I want you to take note of how pointed my corners are, how sharp my corners are. I'm going to teach you a little secret on how I achieve those. So if you're interested, if this is the type of content that you like, I have more great videos. Please do check out the other videos in the channel. Subscribe, like, share to where you share fun stuff. Tell your friends all about the channel, and let's keep this growing. So without much being said anymore, let's get on to the tutorial. For the scallop neckline, you can have them on a bunch of necklines. You can have them on a V-neck. You can have them on a round neck. You can even have them on off-shoulder neckline. Okay, so today I will show you how to do them on a round neck. Okay, so we'll measure 3 inches in for the neckline, 5 inches down, okay, like normal. And we'll just draw a line. Now, to make it look pretty on a round neck, you can't really go down this way, because then it will look like a square neck. So you just do a very shallow curve. Okay, hope you guys can see the line is like that. Then secondly, you need to get something you can draw your circle with. Okay, I'm just using my foundation makeup. Okay, and you mark lines so that you know where you're starting and where you're ending. Okay, and secondly, there's the temptation to do like deep circles. First of all, those are not, I don't think those are pretty. But then secondly, if you do a deep circle like this, right, this part just keeps on flapping up. It doesn't lay on the body. Okay, so now we're going to draw our circle. Okay, sorry, also take your facing, right, just to save you time while cutting. Start measuring. As you can see, the places that I marked is where I'm measuring, and this just helps you, so that you're not guessing every time. And we mark along. Now, sometimes when you draw your scallop, the edges might not line up perfectly. You just need to manipulate it, but so long as it doesn't, so long as your circles are not way up in here, okay, just manipulate it as best you can. Then usually it's a nice thing if your scallop for your shoulder ends on a dip here instead of halfway, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now we just cut it out. And so we have our scallop neckline. Okay, hope you can see how beautiful it looks. And this is our facing. Okay, we're going to sew it on and then flip to the other side. Now, also for this one, as well as the stepped neckline, we're going to mark 1/2 inch, which is the seam allowance that I'm going to use, right round. Okay, so this is just marked up. I don't know if you can see it, right? I have marked my edges because I find it hard to sew right angles. Okay, so also remember that whatever you cut, you need to take into account your seam allowance, because what this means is that this neckline is going to go back in by 1/2 inch, right? So you must take that into account when you are sewing. And like I said, I have a technique that I use that I'm going to show you guys to get very, very flat finishes, like sharp angles, and to lay flat and everything. So let me go show you guys right now. Now for the scallop neckline, as you can see, I have marked the points and we're going to start sewing now. For any curved neckline, it's always best to just go slow, right? There really isn't any way around it. In fact, if you have this sewing machine, which there's a review up on my channel, you can just control the speed by going up and down, right? So right now I'll put it at a 2 so that the machine can sew slower than it usually sews. Okay, so let's go. And just follow the line. Then you keep sewing. Then when you get to the crosshairs, right, you change your stitch length to 1 if you have an electronic sewing machine. If not, you just raise up the foot, turn on a diagonal, right, and just sew 1 step. Use your hand wheel to turn 1 step across. Okay, when you're done, raise up your hand wheel again to sew 1/2 inch this way. Okay, so I'll just do that. And we've come to this point again. And we just keep going until we get to that crosshairs. Alright, then we raise up the foot, turn on a diagonal, put down the foot, take 1 step across, raise the foot, turn this way, and keep sewing. So I'll get back to you guys with the finished results. So once again, these are our corners, and I'm sure you can see the line going across, right? Even here. You sew. When you get to this point, you take 1 tiny stitch across and you keep on sewing. It's the same thing with this one and this one. So we're gonna cut into our points here. Get as close as you can without cutting through your stitches. Okay, let's do another one. And also, because these are curves, we're going to cut little triangles on the curve so that when it turns over, it can lay flat. Triangles I have cut here on the curve, I'm going to do that all over. All right. So this is what the finished product looks like, you guys. And I hope you can see the corners are well pointed, right? And yeah, everything is soft, nothing is hard. And so this is how we sew a scalloped neckline. Okay. So today's neckline is going to be, I don't know what to call it. I think I'll just call it a stepped neckline, right? So we'll pretend for the sake of this tutorial that this is our bodice that we are sewing. This is the center front, right? And usually your neckline is about 3 inches in, okay? So we'll come here, mark 3 inches, right? And it's usually 5 inches down, but it depends on who you're sewing for or your preference. You might want it to be wider or even lower, okay? But for this tutorial, I'm just going to do 5 inches, okay? Now, we want, you decide, right, how long you want your squares to be, right? But usually eyeballing in this case is all right, but I'll just do like 2 inches, right? Then we'll come out 1 inch. Let me show you. Come out 1 inch. Now it depends on the measurements you choose. Maybe your own, this side is what might end here, okay? But for us here, the bottom is going to be like plunging in, okay? And usually, just to save time for myself, I just get what I'm going to use for my, sorry, I've forgotten the name right now. I'll put it up in the screen when I'm showing, okay? Sorry, my facing. I'll just put my facing under this way, okay? This makes it easier when you're sewing. So, you see what I mean, right? So if we take out our pins, we'll see that our neckline is like this and our facing is like this, right? Everything matches. Now, the second thing we have to do, like, I don't know, you guys might be better at this than me, but I am very bad at sewing right angles, okay? So typically what I do is I measure whatever, I put half-inch seam allowance, which is what I like to sew with, right? Then I draw a line and I measure this way and I draw a line. Basically, I just mark out my corners. And in this technique that I'm going to teach you of how to how to sew perfect, like sharp, razor sharp corners, you do need to mark out your corners. Okay, let's do this. So marked out my corner here and marked out my corner here. So mark your facing like that, then you sew them and you flip over. But I will show you a special technique that will give you sharp edges and sharp corners when you're sewing, so that you know your clothes are going to look nice. All right, so let's head over to the sewing machine. We have to start now on this stepped neckline, and I will just bring you guys in closer so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm using contrasting thread so that you can see. Otherwise you would use a thread color similar to what you're sewing. So we just start by sewing our 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, then as we get to the first X, cross mark here, what happens is, if you have a machine like mine, you reduce your stitch length, you know, to maybe like 1.2. For this one now I'm using 2.5, but if you don't have a machine like mine, it's all right. You just keep sewing gently. Then when you have gotten to that point, okay, you just flip what you're sewing to the side this way, right? And now you need to use your hand wheel. You just go on the diagonal a bit, right? Just a bit. You need to make sure it's not much. Okay, just like that. Turn up. You go this way and you continue stitching straight. Okay, so I have finished sewing everything, and I want you to take a good look at how the sides here look, how the corners look. Okay, you can see the place where we took a step on the diagonal, right? I know it doesn't look like it should, like it would make straight edges, but it does. So now we just snip across for the ones coming out this way, and inside like this for the ones on the inside. Okay, now remember not to snip your threads. So guys, this is the finished result, and I hope you can see how sharp the edges are. You can see how sharp they are, right? And the corners. So this is how we sew I'm calling it a stepped neckline. You can see, and the ends, I mean the points, are all soft and nice. They're not hard, right? Okay, this is it, you guys. I hope you liked the video. Again, it was a collab with Stylish Ninja. So I hope you put into practice these methods I've taught you, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share where you share fun stuff, tell your friends all about the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you're interested in this sewing machine, I have a tutorial up on my channel already, so you can go check that out. There's an unboxing and there's a full review, so I'll link that up in the cards or in the description box somewhere. But yeah, Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Peace.